are new. I'm Kelly.
I'm Rich.
And we are Wonderful Adventures. We are currently working part-time on a Mercedes Vario bus build, and we would love it if you could join us for our journey. So please subscribe if you haven't already.
We're inside today because the weather is just horrible, and it has been for like the last couple of weeks. But you would have seen a couple of weeks ago the weather wasn't so bad, and we managed to wrap through our roof to restore that.
Put our brackets on for our roof rack.
And this week we're going to be installing 960 watts of solar panels in a lightweight, less than 10 kilo aluminium frame. Let us know what you think in the comments down below, and thanks so much for your support. So today I'm going to work on the framing for our solar panels. It's going to sit on the roof, and we're going to have some space on the roof as well for our rescue boards, a couple of other light things. So I'm just going to get the stuff out and show you what that's all about. Okay, so you can see here that I've already just laid out the main structure. I've got one more cross beam to cut, which I'm going to do in a minute. And I've already mitered the corners of this front one, so I'm going to miter the side so it meets. But basically, let me talk you through what's going on here. So this front section here is not to scale yet. I've not laid it out perfectly. It's going to hold one solar panel. In the middle, we've got a section that holds two solar panels, and at the back, that's just the section that goes around the hecky that we've got installed. So what I'm going to do this morning is cut all of my pieces up to size, so I can then clamp it up. And what I'm going to be securing the aluminium together with is rivets, and I'm going to bond them in place as well. And then it's all going to be bolted to the roof rack and bolted to the solar panels, so everything will be rigid, secure and safe. I've got this like miter jig that I got with, like, it actually came with the house. When we moved in, it had this gnarly like wood saw and this like Fisher Price jig that I've used a few times, but for jobs like this it's ideal. So I want to miter this at 45 degrees. I could mark it with protractor, but you know, no one has a farm around here. So I'm going to get it started on this, and then I'll take it out of the jig and just finish it off. And then what I'm actually doing is putting the angle profile in on this corner with the file. It should meet real nicely, and then I can bolt these up. Our solar panels are domestic monocrystalline panels, and they're massive, so they're a metre wide, 168.5 centimetres long. So I've got one more cross section to cut at 168.5, and then I'm ready to start drilling and assembling. So my roof rail, the system I put on the top with this aluminium angle, needs to be 5.5 meters long, and the length that I've got there is only 5, so I'm extending it with this 50 centimeter piece here. And what I'm going to do is rivet in place a support section and bond that into to join them together. So I'm going to do that next. I was just going to use a plate on the outside, but I've decided to put one on the inside as well. So it's clamped up now. It's already pretty secure, so I'm going to drill through a couple of places on the outside to put a rivet through, a couple of places on the inside, take it apart, bond it up, and then rivet it together. Now on these ones I'm going to use 4.8mm rivets with a backing plate on them because of the thickness of my material, so it's roughly about 6mm, so it's from the bleeding edge of being sort of a 3.8 or a 4mm one to a 4.8, but I'm going to go 4.8 and then use a spacer on the back. And I'm going to rivet them from the outside in, so we've got the ugly bits on the inside, again because you won't see them from down below. But what I'm going to do now is take them apart, clean the edges where I'm going to bond, and then bond them in, and then rivet them up. So just as usual, I'm using this degreaser and just a bit of blue rag, cleaning all of the surfaces that I've already roughed up with some sandpaper. Let that dry. just gonna go and get my epoxy. This stuff's called Plyo Grip epoxy, so you should hopefully be able to see in there. It comes with this special sort of applicator nozzle, and as you squeeze it out, it mixes it to activate the epoxy. What I'm going to do is just put a little bead of it in between here, just so we've got a chemical and a mechanical bond. I will say this stuff is thick. It takes a lot of pumping out. Even with this is a new gun that I bought. With my old one I couldn't do it, I actually bent the gun. Okay, so what I've got here is a 4.8mm rivet, and then I've got a washer on the back, and nip that up, put that washer on. What you'll find is it will hold itself in eventually. It starts to nip up. You might have noticed I was feverishly pumping away and not a lot was happening. So it comes with a little sort of catcher for the discarded ends of the rivets, and they've got stuck in here and I hadn't realised. So I'm going to try and free them from here now, and then keep a better eye on that. Okay, so the corners are bonded now and riveted, so I've got 6 rivets in each corner along with a gusset plate and that bonding stuff. So that's bonding up at the moment. What I'm doing now is creating a squared off section with this, so exactly the same way. Clamped it to the trusty pallets that I use for everything. Now I'm gonna screw this plate through into this and this temporarily to hold it in place, drill through each side and then rivet that up and then repeat it on the other side.
So Rich is working on making the mounting for our roof rack, so let's go and see what he's up to, shall we? Oh, sunny but cold. Dun dun dun. So here we are. The start.
I've got this one, but also big thanks to my brother. I've been using this one, and I've got crud all over it, so sorry about that. What I'm doing is using the pallet, so I'm screwing it through here, and then I've used that hole later on for another rivet, just to keep it all true and square, and then I rivet it all up, and then by the time I take that out, it's all rigid by that point. And I'm using the epoxy to also make sure the joints are good for just some other stuff. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to?
Building puzzles with Lily.
She's furious today.
She's furious. Oh, she's in such a mint. It's been hard work. We've been colouring, crafting, and now we're doing puzzles.
I'm going to dry fit the panels, so this one goes here. I'm just going to go get another one, pop it here, and then the one at the front I've already tried, and I need a little bit of tweaking on the front, and then we'll be able to mark up where this cross sections are supposed to go and get them in, and then I'll put the panels away for the night and tidy up. Second one dry fitted, so I can mark up now where this definitely needs to go. I had it in the right place. Should have backed myself. Right, I've been at this like 11 hours, believe it or not. I just take a long time to do anything, I think. But we've got the main frame in. I've tested that the solar panels fit in the middle too, which is great. The one at the front I've had a little bit of trouble with, so that's my first thing tomorrow morning, Sunday morning. Gonna get on to fixing this. At the moment I've just got it screwed down to a piece of wood, and then I've got a couple of braces to put in from here forward, so 2 of them. You can see here, this is where I've got it epoxied and riveted. I've done that in every corner, so it's nice and strong.
On the second day of the frame build, my dad very kindly said he will come and give us a hand. A, restrictions here where we live have changed and we're allowed to have people round in the garden, and B, I didn't want to help Rich lift the solar panels because I was scared I was going to drop them, and C, my dad is just a legend, so you know, we wanted him to come on and help us. So
Thanks, Dave.
we love you, Dad. Thank you.
What we're going to do now is drill the M6 bolt holes through. That's going to secure it to the bars. So we're just figuring out, we've got a spare bar here, which is handy. Figuring out how we're going to space them, and we'll drill those through. One less thing to do on the roof. And then how they work, look. So this bar will go into these here, and then what we're going to do is use that VHB tape along the back as well, just to make sure it's doubly secure. So yeah, good progress. Okay, so as this progresses, I have got to fit the last bar up at the back. But before I can do that, I need to fix this light. So I'm going to do that now. And then, it's a little bit of a bodge, but because we want the roof to be even more than anything, I'm actually going to drill a hole in the brackets for the back one, so it fits over it. So it looks made to measure. And then that way, we can have a bar running all the way across the back. Little story on this actually. So, not that I'm a big moaner, but I bought one of these brand new in October last year, and then because it was slow, didn't fit it up. Went to fit it up, and the thing just snapped in half, like inside. I mean, look at me, I'm not that strong, it wasn't my fault. Long story short, I've got another one. This is the second one. Hopefully it goes a bit better. Using some of this cheaper bed liner. So what I've done is drill these out. I'll show you why in a minute. A bit crazy, but you know, we wanted to try and get a bar on the back essentially. So I've just sprayed these up. It was proper tidy, that. No one would ever know. Get off later.
Drilly drill drill.
What I'm doing here, apart from drill, is drilling through the frame and then marking the panels, so we know that they'll match up when we put it on the roof.
I'm now filming through a ladder. I'm not getting any closer.
Where the money is. I'm also explaining to you how my love of pallets again, so sorry about that. Hello!
What's occurring?
Just drilled through all of these, so we drilled them out to 9mm because we're using M6 rivnuts, which we need to put in now. We put in extra ones just to accommodate, so we've got 5 along each long edge, 2 on the side, which is more than enough to hold them in. Probably like over egging it, to be honest. So the way these work, let me show you. So we put the correct piece on the end. It's called a mandrel, I think. You kind of like screw it on like that, and then it goes in the hole, and then you tighten it up. Okay, so it's in the hole, nice and snug, and then you just pull the handles together whilst keeping contact with the panel, all the way up, and then you undo the mandrel. I'm retracting it. It's nearly all the way out. God, it's longer than what I thought. And it's out. So then what we've got then is a captive nut in here that we can put our M6 bolt through. What we did when we drilled these through is we sat them in our frame over here, drilled through the frame into this, so we know that they will match up, hopefully, when we put it on the roof. So I'm just going to carry on and do all of these, and then we're going to bolt it up in the frame and then carry on with the other 2.
Good job, boys.
Little Cal and Nanny have been in the garden, haven't they?
Yeah, busting our Harvard's gardening. And 2 boys have been out here working their butts off too, haven't you? Oh, my dad's here. Say hello, Daddy Dave. We're putting that on the channel.
That's alright.
He's in his best shoes.
I'm waiting for the boss.
You little.
Yeah, we'll do that side, aren't we? Right, where's she sat with? But after epic teamwork, we got the main frame finished, ready to paint. So I've just cleaned it all over with degreaser, took an age. I'm just gonna acid etch it now. It's like 8 o'clock at night, but you know, it's quiet around here and this doesn't make much noise. No one's got their windows open, so I'm gonna go for it because tomorrow I think it's gonna pour down more rain. That's all the inner edges done, which is grey at the moment. I'm just gonna flip it over so I can do the outer edges. Again in the etch. And then I will do my first coat of black on the other side. Okay, I just plopped a coat on. Done the coat in the morning. In the light. I used one of these pistol grip handles, so thanks for Neil pointing this out in one of our previous videos. Great buy. We've bought these little steel cable tie clips to rivet in underneath the bars.
Just so you know, we didn't actually go with using those in the end. We actually used some plastic ones because they didn't fit.
So at this point, we had constructed the roof rack, it was painted, it was dry, and we needed to raise it on the roof. Now this is usually quite a dramatic thing if you watch everyone else's build.
On ours, it just wasn't. It was only 10 kilograms, but we were thinking it was going to go all wrong. So we were all three of us were there, we were on the pallets, getting ready for everything to go wrong. Although it did nearly fall once, didn't it?
Yeah, I did kick it over once, yeah.
But it all went perfectly smoothly, so here it is for you to see in extreme slow motion, because it happened quick. Look at these two lunatics. What's occurring?
We're just dry fitting, well, we're just dry fitting this up. Pardon the pun because it's raining. We're just nipping it up now and then we're gonna call it a day, but yeah, the frame is on. It's sturdy. I am sat where one of the panels are going, and then in the middle, the other two. And then here, we've got a little bit of storage area. To begin with, all we were gonna do is run a piece from here to here. And put the solar panel on and here to here, but I took it a step too far basically. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
And of course it's like the windiest and rainiest day, so we're sorry if this sounds bad. Ooh, ASMR. 10 and shiny sides.
You have to power wash the roof off before we put the panels on.
Yeah, it's filthy again, isn't it?
I can understand why John and Kerry painted theirs black.
Yeah.
But it should all wash off. We'll show you, see if it works. If not, it was a big waste of time.
And do you like how we always say that and then we start laughing? Like in unison, like a little snicker.
We're just packing up for the day because it's the bank holiday Monday and the storm's rolling in. So I have been up on the roof and it has been a bit hairy, but it's started to rain. We've got it bolted in place, just dry fitted at the moment. And then next we'll lift this all off again, make sure it's all nice and square. We're going to VHB tape underneath these gaps so this alley is stuck to this alley all the way down, and then we'll be able to get our solar panels into the gaps. You can see here we've got the cable clips running all the way along as well. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Very rude. I have to clean it now before we put the solar panels on. I'm working today, but we've got the guys coming to take the screen out, which is quite exciting. So yeah, this guy is coming out today. They're going to take the screen away with them, which is good because we don't have to store it. And then we can see how bad this rust really is. So the hole's actually got a bit bigger there. I can see through to the dashboard there. And then Lukey Boy's coming tomorrow from Allen Automotive to see what parts we might need to order.
Now this may seem a bit of a strange place to have this update, but in the next couple of clips you're going to see, you'll see that the windscreen is out. So we wanted to just tell you about it now quickly. The windscreen is pretty bad, so we have ordered a new frame for it, which we're hoping Luke, our welder from Allen Automotive, will be able to spend a whole week and weld it in and fix it all for us. We're hoping it's going to be in the next week or so, but fingers crossed on the weather because it's currently awful. So let's get back to fitting those solar panels on the roof.
We're going to use this VHP mounting tape along the bar, as well as bolting them down, so we've got sort of just double way of attaching it really. So some people attach their panels just with this, but we're going to use bolts. We'll use this, and then we're using bolts in the side of the aluminium into the panel on our rivnuts. So I'm just making sure that, well, I've wiped this down already. I'm just making sure that it's all nice and dry, and then we're going to be sticking that along these bars next. We're going to apply this medium strength thread locker to each of the bolts now, and put them in there, and this just stops them from rattling free, and you need literally a drop on the end of each one, so not too much. We use a medium strength because if in the event we need to remove them, you can in the future. Just literally need a little tiny dot. That's probably too much because I'm being filmed, but no more than that really. A little bit less. Next step was installing the solar panels on the roof.
It's just king of the bath. What's going on, Rich?
Most of them are in the correct place. This one's at the back. I think we need to drill them out a bit bigger. The first one in, we're just nipping up the bolts. Got to drill these holes out slightly larger, just so we've got a bit more access. That's a good learning point. Drill them out a bit. Well, they're already oversized for what the bolts are. We drilled them out to 7.5, and the bolts are 6, M6. So I'm just going to step them up to an 8 or an 8.5, and then put a big fat washer on it. Okay, so we've got these two in here. We just need to bolt them up, and the one in the front is it. So they're all in situ now. We are going to get some larger penny washers to just go through the sides before we thread lock in, so on the actual panels themselves. So we're going to do that tomorrow, and then you see that cable there that's got across the roof. Zip tie that up on the little things that we riveted in, and then run the cable from the front to the back. Hopefully install the light bar, and then that's about the roof finished for now. And what I'm going to do is get some specially cut things to go in these rectangular spaces, but more on that in the future. Use this Vanlife acid etch on these. Yeah, as you know, I raptored the roof, and to be fair, Raptor is thicker and definitely more durable. But for this stuff, where I'm literally just going to be resting our panels and things on here, they're not going to see much more service wear than that. I think this will work fine, and it's much cheaper. So, but I will keep postage because, like I said, it might be a false economy. but it does give a nice finish. It's fairly easy to work with. What I will say is buy them in like packs of 4, and then when you're spraying it, try and use like a whole tin at a time, and if not, really clean the nozzle out afterwards. And then when you finish with one, keep the nozzles off of the old ones, because what happens with this, because it's so thick, when you're spraying it, the nozzles tend to clog, and it can happen like midstream, which makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, it'd be like someone jamming a walnut whilst you're having a pee. Makes no sense, but that's kind of what happens. So keep your nozzles, and then what you can do is, if it blocks up, is you can just grab one of the spare ones and shove it on, and it doesn't slow you down. Learn through experience. So we've decided to mount LED floodlights on the side of the van. So we have 2 on each side, 1 on the back, and a big light bar on the front. These are our little LED lights. So they don't tilt down as much as I'd hoped, but we'll see how they look lit up. And then if I need to, I'll make a bracket to help it hang down a bit more. I was going to put on these uprights, but then it would have made the bus that much wider, so I've put them up here. You can see it's not much higher than the panel, so I'm not really worried about casting a shadow. What I'm going to do now is run these cables all the way along, and then make a little loom, which I'm going to run in parallel instead of series. So these all are powered from source, as it were. That way, if one of them goes out, the other ones will keep working. Just a little bit more work. So I'm going to wire these up now, run it along, run a piece of cable along underneath the other side, and then we'll see how they look in the dark later. In an ideal world, I would have run this cable all in the inside here, but then, you know, there would have been nowhere for this solar to sit. So what I've done is zip tied them about every sort of 25 centimeters all the way along. I'm going along, just getting them tight now, so they're just all neat and out of the way, and they're not going to chafe. So we've got a couple of lights to go on this side, but it's coming along. We're having to tarp over the windscreen, so I'm just taking a video now to show you the effect of it, and we'll finish. I'm gonna have to finish it another time, so we're gonna be putting a light bar on the front and a wind deflector, so that's gonna be another little project. When the LED light comes on, I'm gonna put that one here, so I've got the wiring done just to run down, and then we'll be able to show you all of that finished. Very dissatisfying about the progress today. I think I know what it is. Oh, so ugly. So that is the tale of the tarpaulin.
Oh, and thank you to my Uncle Nick for giving us an extra thick tarp as well. You saved the day. We love you. Thank you, Uncle Nick.
Yeah, really, really useful. So yeah, that's our lightweight solar install complete. In future videos, we will show you how we hook all of that up and hook it up to our MPPT and batteries.
We are hoping next week that we're going to have an update on the windscreen for you, but it is weather dependent, so fingers crossed for us.
Got any questions, comments or thoughts on what we've done on the roof? Always welcome. We've taken some fantastic tips from the community. We're really happy to share anything that we can back as well. With that in mind, please do give us a huge like and comment, and if you're new here and you've enjoyed what you see, please do subscribe. We're trying to pump those numbers up every week.
We really want the community tab.
Yeah, the community tab. If we can hit those 1,000, then we can start interacting a little bit more on there, and that would be fantastic, because it's the best part of YouTube for us. So with that in mind, really hope you have a great week. I don't know what's happened to my voice. Take care though. Thanks for watching.
1, 2, 3.
Bye.